Welcome back to online classes, students. I think in the previous classes, we might have discussed something related to the concept of motion in one dimension or along a straight line. At the same time, under the heading of motion in a plane chapter, you have discussed the concepts related to scalars and vectors, especially vectorial physical quantities, analysis of vectorial physical quantities, vector addition, vector subtraction, vector multiplication, and also the geometrical interpretation of vectorial physical quantities. Now, in today's class, let me discuss in detail about the concept of motion in a plane. To deal with the particular motion in a plane, we require the analysis in terms of position vector, velocity, acceleration, instantaneous velocity, instantaneous acceleration, and hence the concept of relative velocities. Let me discuss from the concept of position vector. I think in one-dimensional motion, we have considered only one of the coordinate to represent the position of a particle. If you consider the particles which are moving in a plane, we require two position coordinates. Let me choose a particle P at a point. Let me represent it in terms of xy plane. The particle position can be represented by a vector. Vector R, normally it is represented, the position vector is represented by the notation R. Here, this can be mathematically represented as R is equal to xi cap plus yj cap. What are these x and y? We have seen that if you have a vector, you can resolve the given vector into n number of components. Namely, here let me consider only two components, that is rectangular components of this vector R, one along the x-axis and one along the y-axis, such that this is referred as horizontal component, that is xi cap, whereas this is yj cap, where this I cap and j cap are the unit vectors along x-axis and y-axis respectively. Therefore, the particle P vectorially it can be represented by a position vector, where this position vector R is equal to xi cap plus yj cap, where x is horizontal component or the component of the position vector along the x-axis, whereas y represent the component of the same vector along the vertical or along the y-axis. Therefore, R is equal to xi cap plus yj cap represents the position of the particle P in two dimensions or in a plane. Suppose instead of considering the fixed position for this particle, assume that this particle is moving along this path, circular path in the same xy plane. At the instant of time, the particle is at P at the starting. After a time interval of t seconds, let it reaches P dash. Now it had changed its position from P to P dash. Our aim is to define what will be its displacement. We know the position vector to represent the position of the particle. It can be represented by the coordinates. Here let P dash be its final position and R dash will be the position vector to represent the position of the particle after a time interval of t seconds when it reaches P dash. Here the vector delta R represents the displacement of that particle. So, delta r will be the displacement that is exactly equal to r dash minus r. R dash minus r. So, on the basis of this expression, we can write that r dash is nothing but x dash I cap plus y dash j cap minus x I cap plus y j cap. So, this is x dash minus x into I cap plus y dash minus y into j cap. So, this is delta r will be equivalent to delta x I cap plus delta y j cap. So, this is what the position and the displacement of the particle under 2 dimension. If the particle is under 2 dimensional motion, its displacement can be represented as delta x I cap plus delta y j cap. So, we have discussed about position vector and displacement. Now, on the basis of this, let me try to define the velocity. We know that according to the basic expression for velocity, velocity or average velocity can be represented as the net displacement over total time taken. Here V will be equal to delta r divided by delta t. Average velocity will be equal to delta r divided by delta t, where this delta r is delta x I cap plus delta y j cap divided by delta t. So, this is delta x by delta t into I cap plus delta y by delta t into j cap. This delta x divided by delta t, that is nothing but average velocity along the x direction plus average velocity along the y direction into j cap. So, the average velocity is Vx I cap plus Vy j cap, where Vx and Vy are representing the average velocities along the x direction and y direction respectively. Therefore, if you try to represent average velocity direction, that will be in the direction of delta r, that will be along the direction of delta r. So, that is what you have to remember in case of the planar motion. In case of planar motion, average velocity will be along the direction of delta r. Average velocity will be in the direction of delta r. Yes, now let me try to define the instantaneous velocity of this particle. Here, if delta t tends to 0, that limiting value by considering the time interval approaches to 0, then instantaneous velocity will be limit delta t tends to 0 delta r divided by delta t. This is nothing but dr by dt. dr by dt, that will give you the instantaneous velocity. In this case, limit delta t tends to 0, delta r is delta x I cap plus delta y j cap divided by delta t. This is limit delta t tends to 0 delta x by delta t into I cap plus limit delta t tends to 0 delta y by delta t into j cap. This is nothing but d x divided by dt into I cap plus dy divided by dt into j cap, or Vx I cap plus Vy j cap. So, this is the expression for instantaneous velocity, where Vx and Vy are component of that velocity vector along the x direction and y direction respectively. So, here if you try to write for magnitude of this velocity, this will be exactly equal to square root of Vx square plus Vy square. So, this will give you the magnitude of the velocity for a particle moving in a plane. At the same time, if you write for theta, what will be the angle made by that velocity vector with the horizontal, that will be equal to tan inverse of Vy divided by Vx. So, this will give you the direction, and this is the magnitude of the velocity. Magnitude of velocity is square root of Vx square plus Vy square, whereas theta gives the direction. Theta is equal to tan inverse of Vy divided by Vx. Yes, we have seen that the expressions for velocity, average velocity, position vector and displacement of the particle moving in a plane. Now, let me try to define what will be the acceleration of the particle in plane, average acceleration and instantaneous acceleration. We know the acceleration, it is the rate of change of velocity, how the velocity of a particle varies with respect to time. So, if you define average acceleration is equal to the change in velocity divided by the total time taken. As in the previous case, change in velocity is delta v divided by delta t. Okay, here average acceleration is delta v divided by delta t. If you substitute for v, delta v is already we have seen that this is nothing but Vx I cap plus Vy j cap divided by delta t. So, this is delta Vx divided by delta t into I cap plus delta Vy divided by delta t into j cap. So, delta Vx by delta t is nothing but component of this acceleration along the x axis into I cap plus Ay into j cap. So, average velocity is Ax I cap plus Ay j cap. Now, try to define instantaneous velocity, instantaneous acceleration. So, instantaneous acceleration is by considering the limiting function for time as time approaches to 0, delta t tends to 0. Therefore, A is limit delta t tends to 0, delta v divided by delta t. This is nothing but limit delta t tends to 0, delta V is Vx I cap plus Vy j cap divided by delta t. So this is limit delta t tends to 0, delta Vx by delta t into I cap is nothing but Ax into I cap plus Ay into j cap. So this is instantaneous velocity by considering as time approaches 0. So A is Ax plus I cap, Ax into I cap plus Ay into j cap. By this, one can come to a conclusion that in case of one dimensional motion, the direction of acceleration is along the velocity itself, either in the direction of velocity or opposite to the direction of velocity. But in case of planar motion, either in 2 dimension or 3 dimension, acceleration can take any values between 0 to 180 degree. Between 0 to 180 degree, it can be in any direction. But in case of one dimensional motion, either it is along the direction of velocity, it is in the direction of velocity, or opposite to the direction of motion. Yes. See, now if you would have considered the particle moving in a plane with constant acceleration, let me choose the particle which is moving with a constant acceleration in let me choose xy plane itself. In the xy plane, it is moving with a constant acceleration a. Since for our observation, let me take V naught b is its initial velocity, that is when you just try to observe it at a time t is equal to 0, let its velocity be V naught, and after a time interval of t seconds, let it gains a velocity v. Now, on the basis of this, you can write for acceleration as a is equal to change in velocity, final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So v minus v naught divided by t, or we can write final velocity is equal to v naught plus at. So this is what we discussed in our previous classes itself. Now in terms of components, since the particle is moving in a plane, so you have to treat it vectorially. This velocity vector, you can resolve it into 2 components, one component along the x-axis and one along the y-axis, so that you can write Vx is equal to V naught x plus Ax into t, and Vy is equal to V naught y plus Ay into t, where Ax and Ay are the component of this acceleration a along the x-axis and y-axis respectively. Then how the position of the particle changes with the time? How one can analyze or how one can explain the change in the position of the particle where the particle is with the constant acceleration moving in a plane? Let me choose r0 and r be the position of the same particle which is under consideration moving in a plane at time t is equal to 0 and t respectively. Then average velocity over this time period. So over this time interval, average velocity will be equal to final velocity plus initial velocity divided by 2. Therefore, displacement will be equal to average velocity into time. You can write displacement is equal to average velocity into time. So displacement is change in the position. We have considered that finally it attains the position r, and where we started from r0. So r minus r0, final position minus its initial position, that will be equal to average velocity v plus v naught divided by 2 into time. So we know that v is equal to v naught plus at plus v naught divided by 2 into t. So this is v naught plus v naught, 2 v naught divided by 2. So remaining is v naught into t plus half at into t, at square. This is what r minus r naught. So if you write for r is equal to r naught plus v naught t plus half at square. R is equal to, final position will be equal to r naught plus v naught t plus half at square. If you write in terms of components, you can write it as x. Along the x direction, what will be the displacement of the particle means that is equal to x naught plus v naught x into t plus half ax t square, whereas along the y direction, y will be equal to y naught plus v naught y into t plus half ay t square equal to x naught plus v naught x t plus half ax t square, whereas along the y direction the displacement will be equal to y naught plus v naught y into t plus half ay into t square, where v naught x and v naught y are the component of the initial velocities along the x direction and y direction respectively, whereas ax and ay represents the component of the acceleration along the x direction and y direction respectively. From these two equations, you can come to a conclusion that the motion of a particle in a plane is to be considered as two simultaneous one-dimensional motions. Two simultaneous one-dimensional motions along two mutual perpendicular directions. So motion in a plane can be analyzed as motion of a particle along two straight lines which are mutually perpendicular to each other. That is what? Along the x-axis and y direction combinedly. Yes, students, let me try to solve a numerical problem to calculate what will be the velocity or acceleration, and at a particular time interval what will be the magnitude and direction of velocity and all. So the statement of the problem given as the position of a particle is given by r is equal to 3.0 t I cap plus 2.0 t square into j cap plus 5.0 k cap, where t is in second and other coefficient values are given such as r to be in meters. It is required to find what will be the velocity as a function of time, acceleration as a function of time, and also find the magnitude and direction of velocity at t is equal to 1.0 seconds. We know that v as a function of time, that is equal to dr by dt. d by dt of r is given as 3.0 t I cap plus 2.0 t square j cap plus 5.0 k cap. So if you continue this, d by dt of 3.0 t I cap, this is nothing but 3.0 I cap plus d by dt of 2.0 t square. d by dt of t square is 2t, therefore 4.0 t into j cap plus d by dt of 5.0, there is no t term, so derivative of constant, so it is 0, therefore velocity as a function of time, this will be equal to 3.0 I cap plus 4.0 into t j cap, so much meter per second. So that will be the velocity. Now acceleration as a function of time. Acceleration as a function of time is d by dv divided by dt, or d by dt of velocity. So this is d by dt of velocity is 3.0 I cap plus 4.0 t into j cap. So this is 0, it's a constant, therefore 4.0 dt by dt, that is 1, so 4.0 j cap. Or else you can comment it as acceleration is 4.0 meter per second square along j cap. J cap is the unit vector along the y direction, so along y direction. So this is what the magnitude of acceleration, 4 meter per second square, that will be along the y direction only. Now the last part, find the magnitude and direction of velocity v of t at t is equal to 1. So we know that v of t is equal to 3.0 I cap plus 4.0 into t into j cap. So this is at the time t is equal to 1 second. So v at 1 second, that will be equal to 3.0 I cap plus 4.0 into 1 j cap. So this will be the velocity at a time t is equal to 1 second. Therefore magnitude of velocity, that will be equal to Vx square plus Vy square. So this is Vx square 3 square plus 4 square. So 9 plus 16 square root of 25. So V will be equal to 5.0 meter per second. So this is what the magnitude of velocity at a time t is equal to 0. Now what will be the direction? Direction, theta will be equal to tan inverse of Vy divided by Vx. So tan inverse of Vy is 4 divided by 3. Tan inverse of 4 by 3, this is approximately 53 degree. So theta will be equal to 53 degree. The direction, it makes an angle 53 degree with the horizontal. So the resultant velocity or velocity vector makes an angle 53 degree with the horizontal. Yes, students, let us work out a problem related to the concept of position. See, in the statement he had mentioned that a particle starts from origin at t is equal to 0 with an initial velocity of 5 I cap meter per second and moves in xy plane. It is in the xy plane under the action of a force which produces a constant acceleration of 3 I cap plus 2 j cap meter per second square. So out of the statement here he had given that v naught, the initial velocity is 5.0 I cap, and it is under the influence of a force which produces a constant acceleration, where that acceleration will be equal to 3.0 I cap plus 2.0 j cap. So much acceleration, and this is velocity v naught is 5.0 I cap meter per second, and acceleration will be so much meter per second square. He asked to calculate what is the y coordinate of the particle at the instant when x coordinate is 84 meter. When the x coordinate becomes 84 meter, what will be the y coordinate? For the calculation of that, at what time, after how many seconds x becomes 84. If you know that, then you can calculate what will be the y component. So first let me try to represent the position vector for this. Yes, r of t. So that is equal to v naught t plus half a t square. Given that v naught is 5.0 I cap into t plus half a is 3.0 I cap plus 2.0 j cap into t square. So if you continue this, this becomes 5.0 t plus 3 divided by 2, that is 1.5 t square into I cap plus 1.0 t square into j cap. R of t will be so much. This is in the standard form. R of t is equal to x I cap plus y j cap. This implies x will be equal to 5.0 t plus 1.5 t square and y will be equal to 1.0 t square. Now, given that x is equal to 84 meter, x is equal to 84 meter at a time t. We don't know about the value of t. It is required to calculate now. Now, if you substitute in this equation 5.0 t plus 1.5 t square, that is equal to 84. Or if you rearrange this 1.5 t square plus 5.0 t minus 84 equal to 0. If you solve this quadratic equation, you will end up with the value of t as t is equal to 6 seconds. T is equal to 6 seconds. Now, if you substitute this t is equal to 6 seconds in the equation y is equal to 1.t square, that is 1.0 into t is 6 square 36, that is 36 meter. Y is equal to 36 meter when x is equal to 84 meter. So, this is about the first part. In the second part, what is the speed of the particle at this time? What will be the speed of the particle at that time? So, speed, that is equal to v is equal to dr by dt. We know that d by dt of r is given that r of t is 5.0 t plus 1.5 t square into I cap plus 1.0 t square j cap. So, this is equal to 5.0 plus 1.5 t square, that is 2 into 1.5, 3 t into I cap plus 1.0 into t square, that is 2 t into j cap. So, this is what V of t. V of t is so much. Now, t we know that it is 6 seconds. So, at the 6th second, V of t, this is equal to 5.0 plus 3 into 6, 18 into I cap plus 2 into 6 j cap, that is nothing but 23 I cap plus 12 j cap. V will be equal to 23 I cap plus 12 j cap. Here the magnitude of V, that is equal to square root of Vx square plus Vy square, that is 23 square plus 12 square, 23 square plus 12 square, that will be equal to 26 meter per second. The magnitude of velocity will be equal to 23 meter per second. So, here this particle will attain, which produces a constant acceleration, and at the instant when its x coordinate is 84 meter, x coordinate becomes 84 meter after t is equal to 6 seconds. At that time, y component will be equal to 36 meter, and at the same time when the t is equal to 6, it is moving with the speed equal to 26 meter per second. Yes, students. So, let me try to discuss about the concept of relative velocity. Already, while discussing about motion along a straight line, we have seen and we have defined the concept of relative velocity, the velocity of one object with respect to the other. with reference to the other object, how one can comment about the velocity of the object. When two objects are under motion, if there is a relative motion between the two objects, then how to define relative velocity? The same concept is applicable for both the 2 and 3 dimensional motion. For both the 2 and 3 dimensions, the concept of relative velocity, what we discussed there, holds as it is here. So let me choose two particles A and B, which are moving with the velocities VA and VB respectively. Here VA and VB are with the reference to ground. Let it be with reference to ground. VA is the velocity of the object A and VB is the velocity of object B. Now, relative velocity of the object A with respect to B, that will be equal to VA minus VB. Similarly, relative velocity of object B with respect to A, this will be equal to VB minus VA. Here one can observe that magnitude of the relative velocity of A with respect to B, this will be equal to relative velocity of the object B with respect to A, but vectorially VAB is equal to minus VBA. VAB is equal to minus VBA. This holds good for all 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional objects. In all the cases, VAB equal to minus VBA, where VAB is the relative velocity of object A with respect to B, whereas VBA is relative velocity of the object B with respect to A. Yes, students, let me work out a problem related to the concept of relative velocity. So, this is what the statement of the problem. Rain is falling vertically with a speed of 35 meter per second. A woman rides a bicycle with a speed of 12 meter per second in east to west direction. What is the direction in which she should hold her umbrella? So, to work out this problem, it is better to represent it schematically. Let me take the schematical representation: east, west, north, south. So, first you take the directions on the basis of which a woman rides a bicycle with a speed of 12 meter per second in east to west direction, with the let this be the velocity of the woman, VW, and rain is falling vertically downwards. Let me take this as VR. Given that VW is equal to 12 meter per second, whereas VR is equal to 35 meter per second. If she is using an umbrella just to protect from the rain, at what angle she should hold her umbrella? So, for this, first let me define VRW or VWR, that is velocity of the woman with respect to rain. So, if you define that, this will be the direction, somewhat like this. So, this is VRW. In this case, this will be minus VW. VW na negative, that is in the opposite direction, VW. Let it makes an angle theta with respect to this relative velocity vector, makes an angle theta with respect to the velocity of the rain. Now, if we define tan theta is equal to VW divided by VR. So, VW that is 12 divided by 35. Theta is equal to tan inverse of 12 by 35. Tan inverse of 12 by 35. So, this will be approximately equal to 19 degree. So, the woman has to hold her umbrella 19 degree with the vertical such as to protect herself from the rain. Okay. So, that 19 degree is the angle at which she has to hold her umbrella such as to protect from the rain.